For the mud step, first you want to learn how to sink your weight. Bend the knees, keep the spine straight, keep your weight in the back, and extend that first leg forward. You want to hold this posture for a while to get used to it. You want to feel the flex on what they call the quad, or the hip flexors. For practicing this step, the mud step, you need to make sure that you extend that front foot, making the toes touch first, while pushing from the rear, keeping the weight in the back. The thighs are together, and you push forward, not too far, right? Not too short, but enough to get a full extension. And you should be feeling the area of, they call the quad, or the hip area. So showing you again slowly, weights in the back, I push forward, and I pull with the front foot, pushing and pulling at the same time. So as that foot, just barely above the ground, pushes and slides, it begins to pull as the back foot continues to push. This gives you power to be able to move in multiple directions, both forward or backward, especially when we start doing it in the circle. So practice this step first and then the circle next week. Here's a changing movement, the single palm change. I want to make sure I drop my weight while turning my hips and extending the hand. Then turning to the side, and then using my legs to drive that weight forward. The other leg steps forward, and I turn, twisting with my whole waist, the lower part of my waist, backwards. Once again, extending so that hand drives out. Don't extend the elbow. Drop your weight down, shoot forward, and step. First, you might want to just practice this stance here. Holding this stance, keeping it in position, so the top finger, the index finger is pointing up and you're looking right through what they call the tiger's mouth. Seeing it again. Turn, keep the elbows close to the body, rotate, keep the shoulders pressed down. And as you push forward, you should feel your body start to move in one piece, so it's important to stay relaxed even though you're in a deeper stance. First start off higher, make sure the knees don't overextend over the toes. You want to keep everything in the right position. And if you feel any discomfort at all when you're practicing this, start higher, and if it still hurts, make sure you see a doctor. Here's from the side view. I push, driving the legs, then I sink my weight, then forward. As I step, I rotate my whole body and extend, looking right through the fingers, the thumb and the forefinger. One more time, dropping, you see my hands are turned up. Then as I turn, my waist, it all shoots forward. Watch the video as many times as you need to understand the positioning of the body. We'll go over this over and over again as it's a very important step, the most important step in Bagua actually. It's important to really understand where that energy is shooting from. So I keep my butt tucked in, and as I turn forward, I keep my shoulders rounded, and I can feel that extension right into the edge of my palm. Make sure you hit it with the edge of your palm, otherwise it's going to shoot back into you. Keep the elbows against the ribs, and as you turn, you just release that energy forward. You don't have to try to hit hard. If it's correct, the power will be there. Now keep your body, you'll see that I'm not shifting forward or backwards, not losing balance. I'm just rotating right into it. So with the parry, you'll see as I pull back, I also have the ability to block. And this is natural, this is just circular energy, because in your hips, there's a circular type motion that you can create. So by creating that circle, I can make that circle go downward, pressing the opponent's hand down first, and then striking forward. Circle the hips, bring it back, and shoot forward. Make sure the knees are in a good position and that the toes are in the same direction as the knees. As you shoot, you need to make sure your legs are stable. They're moving, and they're what we call lively. but they are stable. They're not shaking all over the place. Here, you're trading hands, and this is still from a forward type of stance. It's not what we would use for fighting, but it helps you understand where the power comes from. The shoulders are rounded downward, so you can feel that they're connected to the hips as you strike. Now we'll do one side 2 times, and then the other side 2 times. You can see that little parry on there every time. Get in the habit of keeping those parries in front of you, because this motion may not be a strike. It could very easily be a block. Now we're going to do it with both legs pointing forward, my weight in the back. Legs are in a straight line, a little more than shoulder width apart, going backwards and forwards. Always switch legs and make sure you practice until the legs get strong enough on both sides. Now we're working the end part of the movement, which is the horizontal power. So I step back and rotate with the hips. Keep those shoulders down or you're going to feel a tweak in your shoulder or in your elbow if your elbow's not behind your heart. So keep that chest concaved and make sure that when you reach back, you're pulling with the legs. So the leg goes first, followed by the body, then followed by the hand. You're going to make sure you're not really trying to swing out and hit it with your hand at all. You should really just feel like your body's turning into it. The important part about generating power is that we're not really attacking with the limbs, but the body as a whole. So if there's any discomfort, go back to practicing the first movement before striking. In fact, I recommend doing the first movement for at least a week before trying to hit anything. Now we're just relaxing a little bit more, flowing, and understanding that we're not going to use one single motion when we hit somebody, but just that generation of power will allow you to extend with whatever's closest to the opponent. So we're going to go from this into the elbow, and this is all hip. You don't have to try to swing or overswing. You don't have to do it hard, but use that step. You'll see that small step as we did in the other videos, striking and stepping, strike, stepping. So I just turn my body one way and then the other, and I get that power with the elbow. One and then back. Now we're combinating, which means we're going to end with a straight punch. It comes in through the heart. Take your time and really try to push the bag first before popping it to make sure that your structure is right, because if your wrist goes weak, you're really going to hurt your wrist. So take your time again. Every motion doesn't need to be that hard. Now we're doing 1, 2, 3. 1 to the outside, to the inside, and straight forward. Outside, inside, straight forward. Just relax with it, because in this motion you're going to generate a lot more motions. So it's really not trying to use any one combination. Let your body do this until it becomes more automatic. So you'll see here when I start hitting the bag now, this is how just turning the waist back and forth using the techniques of that single change. And I let my hand kind of swing into the bag as it will. And I check, I repeat different drills and exercises that I've done. But I want to make sure that I'm controlling the space. Me in the bag, right? There's a certain space that I have for safety. And if I don't maintain that space, whatever strike I'm doing is irrelevant. Keep the shoulders down, and you'll see how my footwork really starts to pull me around. The footwork's very important because it lines me up with my opponent. Now more videos will do this, and in older videos we've explained this, but we're going to go through it slow, don't worry. Right now you'll see how I'm using different steps to trigger the same power that we use from the single changing palm. There's no new motions here, just different variations. By turning the waist and understanding how the waist turns, keeping the shoulders down and the back rounded, I can do an endless amount of attacks.